We often view the woodland as a static backdrop, but it is actually a high-stakes ecosystem defined by sudden weather anomalies and specialized predators. For a rabbit, survival is a matter of managing a massive physical deficit. They lack the body mass for defense, the armor to withstand impact, and the offensive tools required to fight back. This vulnerability is exposed when two crises collide. A storm destroys their primary shelter at the exact moment an owl steals their most valuable survival asset, a journal containing generations of environmental data. When an organism is this physically outmatched, survival shifts from a biological contest to an engineering one. The only way to bridge the gap is the rapid application of improvised mechanics. In this environment, cognitive flexibility and mechanical leverage serve as the only reliable counterweights against predators that are larger, faster, and more powerful. The first barrier to recovering that lost data is a geographic one, an island separated by deep water and masked by a dense, disorienting mist. To overcome the water, the rabbits utilize archival plans to construct temporary rafts. This allows them to achieve mechanical buoyancy and navigate a crossing that is physically impossible for them to swim. But the mist remains a threat to navigation. To solve this, they locate Old Rusty, an artifact specifically designed to generate a high-decibel acoustic signal. This signal functions as an auditory beacon, cutting through the fog to establish a line of communication and a navigational heading where visual data is unavailable. By synthesizing the physics of buoyancy with acoustic signaling, the protagonists bypass a geographic bottleneck that would otherwise be fatal. The recovered journal contains a profile of Jack Sharp, an aquatic predator with enough mass to dominate its environment. This diagram shows the mechanics of a catch. The line transmits tension between the fish and the angler's footing, acting as the primary fulcrum. The math changes when the target's mass exceeds the angler's leverage. The force shatters the fulcrum, causing structural failure. This clearly illustrates the asymmetrical leverage ratio. Engaging in a direct contest of strength against an opponent with vastly superior mass results in a predictable mathematical collapse. The failure of this brute force approach reveals that applying a tool without accounting for the target's physical scale is a lethal tactical error. Recognizing when a physical contest is unwinnable is a survival skill in itself. It forces the survivor to stop competing through aggression and start competing through the redesign of their tools. This shift is put to the test when an ally is captured by a fox and ends up trapped in the territory of a badger. Rather than attempting a ground-level rescue against two superior predators, the rabbits initiate a vertical extraction from the safety of the canopy. They repurpose the failed fishing equipment, combining a rigid rod, some high-tensile string, and a wooden bucket into a makeshift pulley system. The rod functions as an elevated crane arm, operated from a high-altitude position well beyond the predator's strike zone. Once the target is secured, the bucket is winched rapidly up the vertical axis, safely extracting the ally before the predators can react. By converting a tool designed for horizontal combat into a system for vertical extraction, they neutralize the predator's physical advantages without ever entering a direct fight. On the forest floor, the predators are left with no target and no clear understanding of how they were outmaneuvered. This demonstrates that the true utility of archival knowledge isn't in repeating past actions, but in understanding the underlying mechanics well enough to adapt them to new crises. This is cognitive flexibility, the ability to look at a hunting weapon and see a rescue mechanism. In an environment defined by the threat of violence, the most effective survival trait isn't the presence of natural weaponry, it is the application of imagination, proving that understanding the mechanics of a crisis is more effective than having the strength to cause one.